All right, good afternoon. It is afternoon now. It is not the morning. So, first and foremost, Shades of Dominion roleplay tonight. Gonna be fantastic, gonna be amazing. We're going to go over character creation with players who've already made characters. We're gonna put it into the character sheet, and we're just gonna have fun with that. So, watch that tonight in about 6 hours. So, in 6 hours, come back to this channel and we will do Shades of Dominion. But for right now, copium. Copious amounts of copium. ABC News. Why do voters say they want anyone but Biden and Trump in 2024? Now, we're just going to state the obvious and explain right at the offset. Who the hell on the Republican side does not want Trump in 2024? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller. Anyone at all? Has anyone heard any of their Republican friends saying anyone but Trump in 2024? I personally haven't heard anything. In fact, we are all incensed at the prospect of a Trump and DeSantis ticket in 2024. I'm excited. Alex Jones is excited. Everyone on the right is pretty much stoked and pumped for this. So where are they getting their nonsense? So Joe Biden and Donald Trump have been heading off for another face-off since the day Trump lost, allegedly. Safest and most secure election in history, we are all told. Don't you dare question that narrative, by the way, or you will be smacked by Susan. But voters say they are upset with the direction of the country and just as ambivalent about having either Biden or Trump lead their political parties in 2 years. Yeah, sure. A New York Times and a college poll earlier this month showed abysmal numbers for both leaders. We'll actually get to that nonsense in later in the video. We will explore this poll. Biden's job approval scrapped 33%. A new Adir. I don't know what they were trying to say there. That's clearly a typo. And 64% of Democrats surveyed said they want a different nominee. Okay. Okay, but we'll go on. We'll go on. 51. Meanwhile, 51% of Republicans said they wanted someone other than Trump to be their standard bearer in the next presidential election. First off, I did not see any of that data in this poll, and even so, Siena College poll. You are polling college students, presumably, is where this polling came from. And I'm supposed to believe that the 51 Republicans in the New York Times and a college poll are authentic, that you didn't just pull them out of your arse. And as if, see, this is what I believe about this information, about this amount of copium. No one believes that this is an actual poll. We know that this poll is actually to form public opinion, not to inform us of it. This is a signal from the establishment telling Joe Biden, please don't fucking run. And I'll be honest, he absolutely should. We should be hoping that Biden just says, you know what? I'm going to be my true, authentic self. I am going to run as president again, despite being 79 years old. And despite the fact that everyone fucking hates me. But it gets interesting. It gets very interesting because who do we have to take advice from? We have Steve Phillips, a progressive Democratic donor, who says that there's another factor influencing Biden's intra-party weakness. Democrats want him to be more forceful in advocating for the base's priorities. We're going to go over the data on that base when we get to the poll info. It's going to be just as delicious as you think. In response, Biden and his administration have touted a range of executive actions that he's taken, but stressed that he is limited by Democrats' fragile majority in Congress. Often, Biden will urge voters to elect more Democrats so he can do more. Allow me to translate that for you. Joe Biden knows that if he were to pressure the Congress to do the things uh, the base priorities are pushing, they won't get reelected. That's what that means. He doesn't have a fucking mandate. He knows he doesn't have a fucking mandate, and he is not touching any of these hot button issues with anything other than executive orders because he wants to provide some political cover for the people he wants to keep in office in the Congress. That's how you know that they're all in this shit heap together. Phillips, the donor, sees it another way. There's 45 to 47% of people in the country. Now, for those of you who think that this sounds somewhat familiar, you're correct. This is a pseudo reference from Wet Mittens. Mitt Romney gave the 47% of people in the country, except this guy wants to flip it around, who are going to hate Biden regardless. And then the worst is, what about those who elected him? That's where the disappointment comes in. There's such a reluctance to tackle the fights that are coming with the same intensity that they're coming. That's what I think is responsible for the low poll numbers. And still, Trump hasn't seemed to reap any benefits from the drop in Biden support. So, what are these numbers that they're referring to? Let's take a look at them. Now, this is on the Wayback Machine. On the Wayback, where we need to find this shit. Let me resize this for you so that we don't get lost in the weeds. Let me resize. I apologize for this. I know it's grossly unprofessional, but here we are, making adjustments, doing the right thing. All right, look at that lame duck. He looked like he just sniffed a kid. Anyways, so Shane Goldmacher. I apologize. We might have to readjust this again. Let's go. Oh, yeah. No. How dare you? There we go. That's it. Right there. Right. There's your home. That's your home right there. All right. All is right in the world, isn't it? Shane Goldmacher. President Biden is facing an alarming level of doubt. Trump's name has been kept out of his whore mouth. I'm liking this. From the inside of his own party, with 64% of Democratic voters say they would prefer a new standard bearer in the 2024 presidential campaign. Now, not only does America not like Joe, not only would we prefer that someone else be in charge, over half of the people who allegedly elected this man in the safest and largest and most secure election in American history decided that they no longer want him as president. That should reflect how much of a shit president he's been, and perhaps we should go in another direction. As voters nationwide have soured on his leadership, giving him a meager 33% job approval rating, despite the constant mainstream media fellatio. Widespread concerns about the economy and inflation have helped turn the national mood decidedly dark, both on Biden and the trajectory of the nation. Again, nowhere in this entire blurb do we have any mention of Trump. None. Zip. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Only 13% of American voters said the nation was on the right track. Let's take a look. Voters on the direction of the country. Wrong direction. Average American. Right track. Predators. These are the people who want to groom your children. Right, they live right here. This is where they live. And for those of you who don't know, if you don't know at this point, you're part of the problem. You may as well be right here with them, and that's pretty much where they live. So, going down further. Actually, let's scroll down. Let's scroll down because there's another graph. Right here. There it is. Democrats' reason for a different candidate. Again, nowhere is Trump mentioned. We can scroll down the bottom and double check. But we're about the halfway mark, and no reference to Donald Trump whatsoever. Number one reason, age. 33%. Number two reason, job performance. Because you're old and you suck. 3, prefer someone new. AOC staffers decided to put a bug in the dissatisfied ear, and this is what you're getting. And here we get to number 4, not progressive enough. So of the 64% of people dissatisfied with the former vice president's performance, 10% of them, 10% of them, 6.4 for those of you who are keeping up with your maths, are saying he's not progressive enough. 6.4%, 10% of this current demographic are the crucial crux point that the people who are donors are appealing to tell the president, if you don't have these people, we are going to lose. Think about that. Really let that bullshit sink in. This is not informing you of people's opinions. This has been written to form opinions. Now, hang on. Let's do something live. Because I'm curious. Trump. Oh, here we get to it. Okay. One glimmer of good news for Mr. Biden is that the survey showed him with a narrow edge in a hypothetical matchup in 2024 with former President Trump 44 to 41%. Really? And here we go. The poll showed that Democratic misgivings about Mr. Biden seemed to mostly melt away when presented with a choice between him and Mr. Trump. 92% of Democrats said that they would stick with Mr. Biden. So the entire thrust of this article, trying to convince all Joe to not run again, is rooted in that 6.4/8% of Democrat voters who think that he needs to be more progressive. Also, what this also says is that of those who actually think that he's not being progressive enough, 2% would still vote for him anyway. Which means there's another 8% that need to go into wood chipper first. So, let's actually scroll down here. Randane Wright, a 41-year-old truck driver in Ocean Township, New Jersey, is typical of these voters. He said he talked frequently with friends about Mr. Biden's shortcomings. He is not aggressive enough to get his agenda done. Mr. Wright lamented. In contrast, he said, quote, Trump wasn't afraid to get his people online. Let's go on further. The coronavirus pandemic, which so thoroughly disrupted life at the end of Trump's administration, was over with Mr. Biden's presidency, as if that had anything to do with Biden himself. Actually, it probably did. Once Trump left office, they knew they could lift the mandates, lift the hysteria, not give any more cover for the need for ballot harvesting. Then they probably just dropped the act. That's probably what happened. But that's a conspiracy theory, Susan, and I disavow. I disavow this crazy conspiracy theory. So, when Biden won in 2020, he made a point of trying to make inroads among working-class white voters by completely demolishing their economy and national energy independence. Yeah, that's whatever crossover appeal Biden once had appears diminished. It's not diminished. It's fucking annihilated. It's gone. You have no connection with the working middle class. You have no connection with white voters. You hate them. You clearly despise these people, and you want them to still vote for you. Unfortunately, they're not black. That's it, guys. Stay carnal, and God bless. Bye-bye.